Oh hey, welcome back to your Heroclix headquarters. I heard you guys wanted to hear a top 5 Flash Heroclix today. So I couldn't decide between a top 5 Barry Allen or top 5 Wally West. So I decided to get rid of honorable mentions altogether and mash them together and make a double list for you guys. But anyway, I'm sure you're in a hurry, so without further ado, let's check out the list. Whoa, sorry, was that too fast for you guys? Alright, I'll slow it down a little bit and we'll run it again. Let's go. Alright, starting us off at number 5, we're going to start with Barry Allen first. We have the rare from Rebirth. The thing I like about this guy is that he's just a little bit different than your average Flash figure. As you can see there, he's got that improved movement characters, which is super awesome. Leading the charge, so if he's the first character that makes an attack and hits, your other friendly Justice League characters can use probability control for their own attacks. That's nice. But what I really like is his movement power, flurry, phase teleport, and sidestep. And when he uses phase teleport and moves 5 squares or less after resolutions, he may be given a close at no cost. So the really cool thing about that is that you can phase teleport through like walls, over elevated, whatever you need to get through, just to get to your opponent, and then you can use flurry, or he also starts with quake, so you can hit him with quake and knock him into a wall or knock him off a ledge or something if you wanted to. Now, he does also have this special at the end, Heroes Don't Kill, unless the Flash is the only character on your force when he would KO an opposing character with an attack. Instead, that character is not KO'd and turned to the last non-KO click and then heal the Flash 1 click. So, as you can see here, he only has that on his last 2 clicks where he goes back to Hypersonic and Prob. And he does have some Perplex there at the front to help out. He's got Indomitable as well. He's only 70 points. I mean, that special at the end can help heal him back up, which is pretty nice. You know, you can hypersonic around, get some, it's kind of like steal energy almost, if you KO a character. But you don't really have to worry about it if he's the last character on your force. I just really like how he has an 18 defense the whole dial. He actually goes up to a 19 with super senses and prob on that last click, so he's pretty hard to finish off. And yeah, he's just a little bit different than the average Flash. He's pretty good though for the points. And then for Wally West here, we have the rare from the Batman animated series. He's pretty cool in that, you know, running pose. They did such a good job on that set and the new JLU set with making him look just like they were from the cartoon. This one's more of your average Flash kind of stuff, though. He's got the Justice League Unlimited trait, which a lot of these figures have. That's at the beginning of your turn, you can roll a d6. On a 6, you can remove an action token from another friendly character with a Justice League keyword. That's 100 points or less. So that's always pretty helpful. The more of those that you have, the better chance you have of rolling them. He's got a special on his movement that he gets for the back half, which is just sidestep and flurry, which again is awesome. Both of these flashes are really more of like a combat kind of flash, you know, running in there and flurrying on some guy. But they also bring some kind of support powers to the table because he's got probability control, and when he uses it and is being targeted in the attack, if the attack misses him, after resolutions you can place him within 3 squares and line of fire of the attacker, which is really best if somebody, you know, charges up on him and misses. Then you can kind of place him further away to get some more hypersonic in. He's got 13 hypersonic to start with, 18 with energy shield deflection, and 3 damage with that prop control special. He's pretty fun to use. I like him a lot. So on to number 4. Alright, so for our number 4 picks, we have actually the same sculpt from the last Barry Allen, but this one is the starter set version. He is pretty awesome. He's 100 points or 50 points. He's got a trait, Sonic Boom, the Flash. The Flash deals penetrating damage to an opposing character that was hit by a character named Cyborg this turn. So if you team him up with a Cyborg, that can come in handy, but otherwise it's not really a big deal. The trait I really like is I'm not going to wait forever. Whenever an opposing character moves after resolutions, you may move the Flash 1 square. That's pretty awesome, being able to move on your opponent's turn. He also has that police team ability. He starts on his 100-point line with a 12 hypersonic, 11 with precision strike, and 19 defense with super senses and shape change, and that 3 damage, and indomitable. So he's incredibly hard to hit for 100 points. Even at 50 points, he's got an 18 defense with that super senses and shape change combo. And that hypersonic with precision strike is always nice. He does also have that charge blades on the last half of his dial, which I just thought was funny. That is actually how many times am I going to hit you is the name of his blades power. I thought that was kind of funny. You're kind of rolling to see how many times he's going to punch the guy. But yeah, he's good at both point values, really hard to hit, you know, good hypersonic. I do wish he had some improved movement, but you can't really ask for everything. And then coming in at number 4 for Wally West is going to be the Justice League Unlimited starter set version as well. He's got this awesome founding members trait, which is speed +2, but only if your force has 4 or more characters with the Justice League keyword. And then for all friendly characters with this trait, you get action total +1, but only if you have 6 or more characters with the Justice League keyword. But I really like that +2 for 4 Justice Leaguers because, of course, you're going to want more movement with the Flash because he's got this awesome special movement power, which is hypersonic speed. So you can just use that regularly, or as a power action, you can give him improved movement, ignores characters, and you can move him up to his speed value, then make a close attack targeting all characters he moved through, regardless of adjacency. And instead of normal damage, each hit character is dealt 1 penetrating damage. Then you can knock back each hit character 1 square in the direction of your choice. So it's really good to run through like a whole swarm team and then knock them back somewhere where they might not want to be. So he's got a pretty good dial there, that 12 movement with that hypersonic special, 10 attack, 18 with super senses, and 3 damage with perplex. I feel like he's a little bit better at the 60-point line with that 11 movement, the 11 attack precision strike, and the 2 damage with perplex, and 17 with super senses. Just that 11 attack and, you know, perplexing it up to a 12, or you could perplex his movement to a 12 if you really needed to. I think the 60-point line is a little better, but the 100-point line is not bad either. So that's going to do it for our number 4 picks. And coming in at number 3, I have the more budget-friendly versions of the Flash. I just really like both of these guys. As you can see, this one only has hypersonic speed. That's his only power he has for his whole dial. He's looks really cool, though. I always love this sculpt of him running and punching. But yeah, the hypersonic is the only thing that he has. You can take a look at his dial there. For the 45 points, you get that 14 movement with hypersonic. 10 attack and 3 damage is nice, and then 19 defense. And he's also got that police team ability to help out the team. I've just loved using this Flash so many times. He makes such a good little harasser, and he helps your team out a little bit with that police team ability. And, you know, your opponent doesn't even want to, like, hit him because that 19 defense, and when you're just running around with a 14 movement, he's so hard to get to anyway. It's, like, not even worth the trouble for a 45-point character. So he's a lot of fun. And then we also have the Great Brain Robbery Flash. Right, now, I know his card technically says Lex Luthor, but that other Lex Luthor from the set also says Wally West. It's just funny because they switched brains for that episode, and they have a whole trait about it, which is nice. For 10 points, you can basically get an extra 2 clicks of life off of him. When he would be KO'd, you can kind of save him there. They got the Injustice League trait, which is actually the opposite of the Justice League Unlimited. So at the beginning of your turn, roll a d6. On a 6, you can give an action token to an opposing character of 100 points or less. And that's pretty much all there is to it. I mean, I really like his dial. He's got that 10 movement hypersonic, 17 super senses, and 2 damage with outwit. For only 30 points, you get a nice little hypersonic harasser and some outwit to help out your team. Injustice League team ability doesn't hurt either. So I just really love throwing these Flashes on any team. They're so low points, you can just squeeze them in pretty easy. They make nice filler. They help out the team, and they're really annoying to deal with. So for all those reasons, they're going to come in at number 3. All right, and then coming in on our number 2 spot are actually probably my 2 favorite Flashes. I don't think they're quite the best anymore because, as you can see, they have the older cards, so they're a little outdated at this point. But I still love them, especially this Barry Allen might be my actual favorite Flash figure ever, but I'll explain why. So this was actually the OP Kit Flash, but he's got the Speed Force trait that they first made in the Flash set, and I think his is maybe the best one ever. So how it works is if they move at least 1 square and hit 1 or more opposing characters, then they get a speed token after actions resolve, and then they get to increase their speed value by the number of speed tokens. But his is really cool. If he has at least 1 speed token, he can use Sidestep. If he has at least 2 speed tokens, he can use Improved Movement Hindering Terrain, and when he gets 3, he can ignore Elevated Terrain. And then he's got a special on his attack later where you can give him a close combat action and remove any number of speed tokens, and then you can make that many close combat attacks using his printed damage value, which is pretty crazy. So you can get tons of attacks in. He's pretty much just got standard powers other than that. So if you manage to get enough speed tokens on him in the back half of his dial, he can make a ton of attacks when he gets to charge. But as you can see there, he starts with a 14 movement with hypersonic, 11 attack with precision strike, 18 super senses, and 3 damage. So the thing I love about him, he's only 85 points. He's got the police team ability too, but he's just so fast. As soon as he gets that first speed token, he gets sidestep. So you can kind of almost think of that as if you manage to hit your attack, you have a 16 with that hypersonic, because you'll be able to sidestep right after, which is pretty crazy. And then as you hit more and more, you can ignore more terrain, which just gives him more freedom of movement. And then just taking a quick look through his dial there, he gets some outwit and then a little perplex at the back end. It's pretty nice. I like him a lot. He's one of my favorites. And then coming in at number 2 for Wally West is actually from the Flash set. This is maybe my favorite Flash sculpt. He's had some really cool ones, but I just love that running on the lightning and all those, whooshy running effects. It's so cool. So as you can see here, he also gets the Speed Force trait, and then he has another trait, Vibrate Through the Walls. So when he has 2 speed tokens, he can use Improved Movement Hindering, and modifies his defense value by +1. And when he gets at least 3 speed tokens, he can use Flurry and ignore his elevated terrain. And when he gets 4 speed tokens, he can use Improved Movement, Destroys Blocking, and deals 1 damage to all characters adjacent to a square blocking terrain he moved through. So again, I just really like how the faster he gets, the more terrain he gets to ignore. And once you get to that second one, and he can increase his defense by +1, and then the third one, he can use Flurry. So he starts to become deadlier and deadlier. And then he does have a special on his damage, which you can give him a free action, remove a speed token from his card, and if you do, until your next turn, all friendly characters modify speed +2, and all opposing characters modify speed -2. So that really helps your whole team to get in there. And if you have like a team full of Flashes, for instance, modifying +2 for all their hypersonic can be pretty ridiculous, and modifying your opponent's speed -2 can make it really difficult for them to get to you. But then we'll take one more quick look at his dial. He's got the 13 hypersonic to start with, 11 attack precision strike, 18 defensive super senses, and Indomitable, which is awesome, and then that prob control with a 3 damage. Precision strike and hypersonic is such a good combo, and I love seeing super senses and prob on Flash. It's just kind of like all the powers you want in a Flash. And then we can just take a quick look through his dial so you can see the whole thing. There at the back half is when he gets charge, poison, and that cool damage special there, where he can modify the speed of everybody. But they're going to come in at number 2. So like I said, we don't have any honorable mentions to get to today because we're doing a 2-in-1 list, so it's already 10 figures anyway. So without further ado, let's check out my number 1 picks. And running their way into our number 1 picks are the Chase and the Uncommon Flashes. Chase from Batman Animated and Uncommon from JLU. So I'll explain why. With Barry Allen, of course, first we have the Chase Flash. I love this sculpt. This is, again, one of my favorite Flash sculpts. Those cool whoosh runny effects that they do are so awesome. So there's a lot of reasons he comes in at my number 1. Mainly just being his cheap cost and all the stuff that he can do. So for those of you that don't know, he does have the Trouble Alert Come In Flash trait, which all the Chases from this set and the JLU set had something like that. So basically it gives you sideline active, friendly characters have free. If this character critically missed this turn or made the 3rd attack this turn to miss all targets, place a character from your sideline that can use the Trouble Alert trait adjacent on its blue starting line. And then at the beginning of your turn, if the Flash started the game from the Trouble Alert trait, roll a d6 on a 4 to 6, deal him 1 unavoidable damage. So it's interesting, you actually have to roll low for that trait if you want to not give him unavoidable damage. But they also all had a downside. So waiting for unspeedy people, my occasional weakness. Characters that can use sidestep modify attack +2 when attacking only the Flash, and characters that can use sidestep modify defense +2 when the Flash attacks them. As long as you make sure you attack the right characters, it shouldn't be too big of a deal. I know a lot of characters have sidestep right now, so it kind of sucks, but they do so much for the points that they had to kind of give all of them a little bit of a downside. As you can see on his special movement power there, he has Flight, Passenger Zero, and Hypersonic Speed. Flight, of course, giving him all that awesome improved movement for his hypersonic. And then he's got a special attack power, which gives him telekinesis and pulse wave with a range value of 4, which is going to be a 2 square pulse wave pretty much. So there you can see those awesome stats he has for only 60 points. 12 movement, hypersonic, 11 attack, precision, 18 super senses, and 3 damage with prob. And for only 30 points, you can get a pretty similar dial. That 11 movement with a hypersonic and flight, the 10 precision strike, 17 super senses, and 2 damage with prob. I really love bringing him in for 30 points for that prob control. Especially, you know, with the Trouble Alert trait can be pretty helpful sometimes. So he's super awesome at both point values. And to wrap things up, I have Wally West Uncommon from JLU right here. So with the same sculpt we've seen in a lot of these, you know, a lot of sculpt we're using in the set. He's my personal favorite Wally West from that set though, because as you can see here, he's got that Justice League Unlimited trait, so that's going to help your action economy a little bit. He already ignores elevated and hindering from movement, which is awesome. He's got a trait around the world in 80 milliseconds free if the Flash occupies a square on the edge of the map and that edge is the longest edge of the map or tied for it. Place him in the same row or column on the opposite side of the map from that edge. He can't be placed in a starting area this way. So basically, if you're on like the left or right side of the map, you can kind of just appear at the other side as a free action, which is super awesome. He's got a special movement power, which gives him hypersonic speed. And then as a free action, this turn modifies speed plus 3, but the Flash can only move in direct paths. So as long as you can get him set up correctly, he can have a potentially huge hypersonic speed movement. As you can see, he's got 12 movement to start with, so he can get up to a 15 if he goes in a direct path. 11 attack, 18 super senses, and 3 damage is pretty nice. And that Indomitable is great as well. So he's not too flashy, no pun intended. He doesn't really have any extra bells or whistles on him. Pretty basic, but I just love the improved movement, that super hypersonic speed movement, the ability to kind of teleport side to side on the edges of the map, and you know, just the Indomitable is a nice touch. And another main thing about him, this Flash has a bunch of team-up cards from this Justice League Unlimited set, so there's actually a lot of things you can add to him if you're lucky enough to get a couple of his team-up cards. You know, if you team him up with, for instance, if you team him up with Green Arrow, you could get probability control against range attacks. If you team him up with Green Lantern, you could get energy shield deflection. You know, there's a lot of really cool combinations. You could team up with Batman, that gives him stealth and the ability to move 2 squares as a free action if he occupies hindering. So there's a lot of really cool combos you can do that can increase his movement even more or better his defense or whatever. So for all those reasons, he's actually my favorite Wally West Flash. Alright, that's going to do it for today. If you guys like this list, make sure you leave a like for me. Let me know in the comments what your favorite Flash figures are and what figures you'd like to see on our next top 5 list. And Flash fact, don't forget to click that subscribe button so you don't miss a video. Until next time, this has been Heroclix Headquarters saying, I'll be back in a flash. Bye!